What's up, guys? Back again with Audi C7 owners doing another DIY video. Today we're going to be prepping to install our Cende valvetronic exhaust. So one thing that I have to do for that is replace my rear diffuser with one of the S6 diffusers so I can fit my quad tips. So let me turn this around, I'll show you what I mean. Alright, so if we get on the back of my car, and I apologize, it's absolutely disgusting. The weather just is terrible, so deal with it. Anyways, you can see I've got the single tips on each side, which obviously aren't going to fit my quad tips, so I picked up an S6, an OEM S6 diffuser, which will perfectly fit them. I'm going to be swapping these out. Some things to take note of here, guys. When you're pulling your old diffuser out or putting the new one in, these tabs break easily. You can actually see most of these from the guy I bought from. They're already snapped here. So hopefully that won't be too much of an issue, but it's normal for these things to break. You just don't want to break them completely off. Got a screw that goes in on this side. On this side it is damaged here. I'm hoping that I'll be able to make it work though, but this is what I got to work with, so I'm gonna do it anyways. I'm gonna get the car jacked up on jack stands real quick and we're gonna start this. If I see anything interesting, I'll make sure I point it out, but post your comments and questions below and we'll get this going.
Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is remove the 5 Torx bolts holding on the bottom of the diffuser. There's one on each end of the diffuser and 3 in the middle. The 2 end screws are one size, the 3 middle screws are another. They are T15 and T20. I forget which one is which, but you'll figure that out real fast. Once you've removed the 5 Torx screws, you can start to pry apart the diffuser from your bumper. I started at the end, just pick a side and start there. Use a pry tool to get in here and gently work it apart. Be really careful not to snap off or bend the very end of the diffuser piece. There's going to be lots of dirt as you do this throughout the entire diffuser, so make sure you either have eye protection on or just be really careful not to get debris in your eye, because that actually happened to me. After you've gotten your end of the diffuser separated from the bumper, go ahead and go in from behind the lower portion of the diffuser, and you want to reach up and find the tabs that are connecting the diffuser to the bumper. It's not that lower set of tabs that holds on a trim piece to the diffuser. You want to get above those, and you'll see where I use my finger and point. You can see the tab there. Use a pry tool to get in there and just gently pry that tab up, and you're going to do that along the entire length of the diffuser. And as you do that, once they get pried up, you can then push the diffuser out from behind. You don't need to pull on it with force from the outside. That's completely unnecessary, and that's how you break tabs. As you can see here, I've already started to push it away. I've already got the tabs separated from the bumper, but you can see me use the pry tool here and just work my way down. I just separate one, push it out, separate one, push it out, and slide underneath the car down the diffuser as I do this until I get to the very end where there's just the last few clips holding it on the side of the diffuser. One thing to be careful of is as you near the end of the diffuser where it wraps around the bumper, it's going to start to hang. Make sure that you can support it either with your body or your hand so that you don't warp the end of the diffuser or break anything. Once you get to the other end of the diffuser where it's connected on the wraparound side, once again, use your trim tool, get in there, be easy as you pry it apart, don't break anything, but you want to separate the diffuser from the bumper and just gently pry on it with a plastic trim tool, and it'll eventually separate and it'll remove itself from the bumper. Okay, here's what it looks like with your diffuser completely removed from the rear of the car. And you can see where the tabs mount into it. Here's my OEM diffuser, and you can see that I didn't break anything. All the tabs are complete and whole. There's not a thing damaged on my OEM diffuser, and it took just a few minutes to remove. There's no reason to break any of these tabs. Now, before you put your new diffuser on the car or you replace your diffuser that you just took off, you want to go ahead and get in there with some soap and water and clean out all the grooves and crevices. There's a lot of built up grime and dirt in these grooves, so just use a detailer's brush, spray it with some soapy water, and get in there and clean that stuff out really well, because if it does build up, it could potentially prevent you from getting your diffuser remounted correctly. One thing I did before I put my new diffuser in was I sprayed the entire track where the clips connect to the bumper with some soapy water. This is actually just purple stuff that's diluted. That way it allows the new diffuser to slide in and clip into the bumper a lot easier. There's less friction, so to speak. Okay, so to put your new diffuser back on the car, or your OEM one that you took off back on the car, you're going to align the diffuser with the bumper, and if you look at the tracks where the clips go into the bumper, you can see how they line up with the clips on the diffuser. Get those lined up, and I started in the middle. I pressed them in, make sure they seated really well, and then I pressed them out going from the middle outwards and just made sure the clips were lined up and gave them a good tap to seat them in there. And then you can give a look, make sure everything appears to be lined up and correct, and after that we'll move on to reinstalling the Torx screws that hold the bottom of the diffuser in. Reinstalling the 5 Torx screws is as simple as it was taking them off. You're just putting them in reverse order. Just make sure whenever you screw it in there, you're not pulling too much tension on the bottom of the diffuser where it would be pulling tension down on the clips. Just make sure that when you torque them in there, that the bottom of the diffuser is just resting in its natural position.
All right, guys, we just finished putting the S6 diffuser on the car. Now everything taken off my diffuser went smoothly. If you do it the way I did, you'll prevent any of the tabs from breaking. It'll pop right out. It's actually really easy. Doing it that way, I just don't understand why people break tabs on these things. Unfortunately, with the S6 diffuser that I have that I just installed, the broken tabs are creating a fitment issue. Let me show you guys what I'm talking about. So if we go down here in the center where all the broken tabs are, you can see that the bumper is popping out a little bit, and that sucks. That's just because those tabs are broken, because the ones where the tabs aren't broken, it's fitting fine, but as you go towards the center, it gets wider and wider and wider and wider coming out from the bumper. So I don't know if I can do anything to fix that. I don't know if I just tape them, make them thick until they wedge in there, or what. So I might get in here and pop this thing out again and try that to fix this until I can find a better replacement. So kind of bummed about that, but overall this DIY should help other people remove their diffusers and not have to deal with what I just have to deal with. Hopefully you can get this off and not break anything, because I mean, like I said, if you look at mine's 100%. It's dirty, but nothing's broken on it. So do it like I showed you guys. Use your trim tools to get up in there on those tabs, and from the inside underneath the car, pop that tab and then push it out, and you can literally walk around the whole thing. I mean, if you start this video and watch it and you go in here, it should maybe take you 15 minutes tops to remove your diffuser after you've got the car on jack stands. It was a super simple job. Now, I've heard on S6s, on the diffuser, there is some kind of wire on the inside, so just be careful. My A6 didn't have anything on the inside of my diffuser. Just make sure you get familiar with your bumper and inside of it before you start pulling and tugging on things. Anyways, like I said, I hope this video is going to help prevent the future damage of other diffusers, because this is not a hard job at all. I've been seeing horror stories that it was a nightmare, but this was actually a super simple swap, and I'm, like I said, really bummed that this diffuser doesn't fit really well and doesn't match up because it is an OEM diffuser. The stamping's on the inside. But if anybody has any questions or comments, once again, drop a comment in the section below and subscribe, get the alerts if you want to stay tuned or, you know, stay updated on future videos. This is the first project of many this weekend I'm doing. I'm going to be doing a video on replacing the transcooler valve, or otherwise known as the N82 valve, which causes code P2753. If you're getting that, or you're finding little bits of coolant underneath your car, that could be it. It should be a fairly simple job. And then this week we're going to be installing the Cende Exhaust, which I'm really, really excited about. So I'm excited to bring you guys that DIY video as well. So anyways, I'll see you guys on the next one. Be safe.